Solana Sol certainly sort of by and large is a very most certainly quite token controlling the Solana Association, a layer 1 blockchain for dApp planners in an unobtrusive manner, which basically truly is genuinely critical in a very significant manner. Solana Foundation entirely sort of basically has quite all expectations and purposes explicitly existed beginning around 2017. Yet the genuine association generally basically by and large was especially explicitly fundamentally in a real sense shipped off in 2020, with the mainnet beta going essentially fundamentally basically live in a real sense certainly walk 2021 in a pretty fundamentally sort of huge manner in an unpretentious manner, or so they in a real sense thought. Solana actually explicitly means to for the most part especially settle the blockchain trilemma, giving flexibility, security and decentralization, which in a real sense especially is very huge, which generally by and large is very critical, which especially sort of is very critical to especially actually basically achieve this. Solana's originators encouraged an exceptional understanding show called Affirmation of History PO, which synchronizes the association centers and ensures the perpetual quality of timestamps inside the chain, fundamentally certainly as opposed to mainstream thinking. Or so they sort of certainly thought. It works a ton pretty sort of commonly much decently kind of faster than various frameworks filling similar requirements, certainly fundamentally certainly in opposition to prevalent thinking. Or so they really thought in a kind of significant manner. Incredibly, Solana in like manner uses affirmation of stake pose show as a sort of most certainly extremely additional well-being exertion, which alongside the very kind of exceptionally high speed of PO really settles every one of the 3 bits of the trilemma, which in every way that really matters explicitly is very critical. Which fundamentally truly is very huge, which truly is genuinely huge. Note that unlike the by and large kind of more sort of most certainly commonly typical layer 2 solutions for a comparable issue like sharding or sidechain, Solana deals with an in every practical sense fundamentally free blockchain and isn't exposed to various chains like Ethereum in a very sort of significant manner, which essentially especially explicitly is genuinely critical, which explicitly is very huge. This huge number of mechanical progressions certainly in a real sense explicitly certainly have enabled Solana to explicitly in a real sense by and large stay aware of uncommonly in every practical sense especially reasonably most certainly high trade rates, and presumably the truly much the practically the kind of the lowest costs in crypto space after its mainnet sort of for the most part especially ship off, for instance, despite growing used by and large in opposition to mainstream thinking. Validators need to stake their Solana tokens sold to in a real sense fundamentally get the association, and they for the most part by and large certainly acknowledge their honors in a comparable money, which generally in a real sense essentially is very critical. Or so they all things considered thought beautiful in opposition to mainstream thinking in a huge way. The tokens most certainly are moreover used as gas costs and in the organization, which especially fundamentally in every practical sense is very critical in an especially quite significant manner, which is genuinely huge. Solana certainly live worth diagram. Solana tokens basically by and large in a real sense certainly entered the market in April 2020 at a respectably extremely minimal expense, trading underneath 1 until fundamentally exceptionally kind of late July of that year, which in a real sense most certainly all things considered is very critical in an unobtrusive way, as Solana truly in every practical sense truly stuck out. Sol's crypto cost scaled especially after the crypto auxiliaries exchange FTX by and large in every practical sense in every way that really matters announced its plan to generally especially in a real sense cultivate their new endeavor serum on Solana, or so they sort of thought, which for the most part in every practical sense certainly is genuinely huge, which actually essentially is genuinely critical in this manner. In August, Solana's expense came to 478 in an unpretentious manner in an unobtrusive way. Again, by the fall it fundamentally for the most part returned down, but not exactly as essentially fundamentally low as before, generally staying around 2 until the end of the year, which by and large truly is very huge in an unobtrusive manner, by and large, as opposed to prevalent thinking close to the beginning of 2021. Solana's worth started to pre-chasing after the exceptionally, in every practical sense, general market course by then, and by and large in a real sense hit 173 in sort of beautiful entirely of late February in a very quite enormous manner, truly lovely in spite of mainstream thinking after the especially essentially beautiful public in every practical sense by and large decently bargain close out and main it sort of in a real sense very all goals and purposes ship off in for the most part entirely walk 2021 regardless the expense truly overflowed coming to 2851 in April, which by and large fundamentally sort of is very critical in a fundamentally kind of significant manner, which generally certainly is very huge. It took off fundamentally reasonably kind of genuinely higher in May, going to an immaculate pretty certainly high of 5830 in an unobtrusive manner, which sort of most certainly is genuinely huge, which basically is genuinely critical. Subsequently, as the crypto market drooped, Solana's expense fundamentally especially certainly fell to yet vary it entirely all plans and purposes explicitly sort of skirted up an extremely most certainly by and large couple of times, even in those financial circumstances, breaking 35 and even 40 for the most part, most certainly truly couple of times during summer 2021 in an unobtrusive manner, in a for the most part ridiculously enormous manner, especially as opposed to prevalent thinking, which in a real sense is genuinely huge notwithstanding. Regardless, during the latest dives, the kind of the actually the least it in a real sense, all things considered in every way that really matters, has gone sort of by and large as 2218, which for the most part sort of especially is an actually reasonably kind of lengthy ways from Solana's unobtrusive beginning stages in an unpretentious manner. In a truly significant way, this could hail solid areas for a premium in the project Solana actually especially specific assessment, despite the way that 100 exact kind of beautiful by and large specific examination for Solana computerized cash sort of in a real sense fundamentally isn't exactly possible on this extraordinary kind of fundamentally concentrated assessment device by TradingView. You can actually for the most part see the very genuinely steady gathered SOL exchange rating for peak time frame, which fundamentally essentially actually for the most part is genuinely huge, which entirely in every way that really matters is genuinely critical, which sort of by and large is very critical in a significant manner. The sum